wonder if I should call Dave.
So Haha's having a good dinner. Yeah, it's pretty good. Derek Barnack? Hello?
You ready to make a BSG Year 11 video? You know that one that we were talking about?
The part two? Really? Okay. The one that would give all the answers away, right?
Well, kind of. I don't know. Maybe not all the answers.
Okay. Okay, great. Yeah, okay. Okay, I'll be there in a bit. Can I please get a box? Hey everyone, before we get started, we'll have Derek say a few words about himself, okay, in case you don't know who he is.
Yeah, well, thanks for the introduction, Dave. So my name is Derek Barnick. I've been helping people with BSG over the past, I would say like 4 years, ever since 2020 when I graduated with my MBA. I no longer have the time to help with BSG. This is a once in a lifetime, just probably thing where both of the best BSG players on YouTube are going to be working together to help you get all the information you need, which I think is just super fantastic. Essentially I'm moving on. I don't have time because I'm working on a mini MBA program. It's actually called the minimba.com, which is essentially making a more affordable way for students to upskill their credentials and move forward in their career while not having to worry about GMAT, a bunch of other stressful barriers to entry, and it's global too.
Wow.
So I'm really excited about it. But other than that, let's go ahead and Dave, let's get started and going over all this good stuff.
Okay. All right, so let's have a look at the compensation page. Is that in terms of compensation, is that I work in a corporate environment, and annually our union is only able to get about 1 to 2% wage increases per year. So that's what I think is very fair for employees. I also my father also had a supermarket as well, and it is that it comes down that if you have an employee and pay him a whole lot of money, it doesn't mean they're going to give value for your dollar. Is that wage increases are fair as per inflation, but you really want to emphasize the training of employees and making sure that they are being productive with their time. That really is the key of having a solid employee is making sure that they are well trained, well informed of the processes within a business, and for them to perform their job at a very optimal rate. So, in my view, is that the most important parts of the screen is base wages around 1 to 2%, and a high best practices training investment. Your thoughts, Derek?
Yeah, I really like best practices training, mainly because it's that long-term cumulative benefit too. You don't, I mean, yeah, just as students forget their everything they learned in their bachelor degree or whatever it be. Um, it's kind of interesting how best practices training you do pay for it, but they retain all of those skills to better improve your operational costs, which I think is super unique in at least the BSG context. The other thing, base wage, that's also, I would say, pretty interesting. Specifically in the fact that you said that your traditional base wage is 1 to 2%. Um, I think over the past 4 years, we've seen a huge problem with companies not increasing their base wage. But like employees, although they're not getting the pay, they're still going to do the work, which is terrible to say, right? Like, if you don't do the work, well, then you risk losing your job, and some money is better than no money. And I think this might even have that realistic, like, yeah, even if you're giving your employees 1 to 2%, they're still going to do the work, unfortunately. And like, that just is what it is. Um, but it makes a very unique dynamic. Also incentive pay, like I really like incentive pay as a theory, specifically in doing better work. Well, you think of sales, right? You incentives give somebody incentive to make a sale, well, then you might be more likely to make that sale. But in this context of reducing reject rates, I don't think the cost to benefit is there. Um, so I don't know if you have anything else that you can think of.
Best practices. It does all the good stuff. It helps reduce the cost of building shoes. It reduces reject rates. Helps like increase productivity. It does all of those things. And incentive pay, all it does is just simply reduce reject rates. So
Hmm.
therefore, the incentive pay really has a very nominal amount. And to say it this way, okay, is that if if uh, if if my boss, okay, was looking at this, is that he'd say that, you know what, there shouldn't be incentives, okay, to the employees to do a good job. They should be working to the best of their ability, given the training that they had. So therefore, okay, that's the mindset that's what the mindset that my world is part of. So best practices training. That's the big thing there.
Yeah. What about supervisory? Should your boss get paid
Um,
more? Should your boss get a higher raise than you?
Actually, is that well, we're both part of a union, and actually and we belong to the same union. So therefore, is actually we actually get paid wage increases the same. Um, so yeah, the supervisory compensation should match the employees. There should be no deviation of that. This actually is a very interesting thing about supervisory staff. I actually was talking to um, a previous business associate of mine, and her father owns a steel factory. And I actually asked her, how many employees should a supervisor have to supervise? In the game, 30, 40, 50, those are very normal numbers, even 20. But in real life, is that common? My working unit is like 6 people, max 8. Um, is this idea of having a 20-person team? I actually don't see it very often. I would say that maybe 10 is the very max, even for other businesses out there. What's your experience with this, Derek?
Yeah. Well, to reiterate, what did you say this manufacturing person said? Did they say
Oh,
that? What was
they
it?
they thought maybe 20.
20?
They're not sure. However, is that 40? It's not 40 though.
No, 40 is
Not 50.
absolutely insane. Yeah, I would say like in a professional setting, 5 to 8 max direct
Yeah,
reports essentially. That's what it would be called in corporate America, so to speak. So many direct reports do you have? You might have more indirect reports depending on your like work and style of work you're doing. But no, I would say you won't have more than 5 to 10 direct reports, and then indirect reports will also still not be more than that. So in the context of this game, I think although 40 is kind of the sweet spot, I think it's really mistaken. Um, I just don't find that realistic.
yeah. Well, that's how it is.
Yeah, it's just a game. That's another thing too, right? A lot of students, unfortunately, especially with this page, for whatever reason, um, whether you're in your HR class, you learn that you need to pay your employees well, and you heard this case study that people are getting paid 15% wage increase. They're getting paid 25% more than the average and stuff, and they're super productive. It, it's just one case study. It's not the real world, unfortunately. Um, this is what you have. So don't overthink this page with whatever you learned in your HR class. I'll just say that.
Yeah. And also is that this game is developed by people who, well, the developers of the game, they're from Alabama, and they're probably as old as my grandpa. Okay, maybe 5 or 10 years younger. They're probably as old as your grandparents, Derek, though. But yeah, I'd say 80 plus, anyways. But this is how they view the world as per their game. This is a reflection of their mindset. So maybe in their world is that 40 employees to one supervisor. That's very good. But you know what? Maybe they've been stuck in academia for so long they don't even know what business is anymore. Um, that actually is a thought process that I've had about teachers. I remember one teacher that I had in university, and you know what? He's teaching me how to be a millionaire. Why isn't he the millionaire? Why is he teaching this course to me? He's making like 80 grand or whatever. anyways, is that for all people who are looking at this video in the future, is that find yourself some good mentors, people who are in your field and are successful. You'll learn more from them, okay, than these people in the university. They know the textbook stuff. The application's gone. Is that they're just collecting a paycheck there.
All
Because
theory. Yeah, it's
yeah.
all theory, and that's why I like my little MBA program too, right?
Oh yeah,
Building
yeah.
more real world experiences
Right.
and getting rid of the fluff too, right? Like the education industry is just so fluff oriented. You read these big textbooks. I've read all my textbooks page to page. How much do I
Right, right.
remember of all that? Very little,
Yeah,
unfortunately. But no, I completely agree with you on that aspect. And um, yeah, like it's just funny. It's funny your
yeah,
thoughts.
yeah,
How you're right. The millionaire teaching people how to be millionaires and stuff, and they're
yeah,
not. I think also you can't teach people grit. You can't teach people
yeah,
good work ethic. Those are the things that really will make somebody the best chances, I think, of getting a millionaire. I'm sure there's studies on this, right?
yeah,
But at the end of the day, it's hard work. You just don't
yeah.
see it because of social media. Everybody just thinks
Mhm.
like, oh, well, they're a millionaire. It's so easy.
Right.
They were probably putting 80 hours a weekend for months, years.
Yeah,
We have no idea. Or they just grew up with money. I mean,
maybe.
it's hard to say. So,
Yeah, yeah. Well,
yeah.
a different career path, okay, is that to have an OnlyFans account and show a person's junk out there, that just wasn't an option when I went to university. It is now though for young people. Good for them if they're able to pull it off. But there is work. There is work to be a content creator. So and well, is that everyone has to work hard in whatever their field is. One more thing too about professors that also really gets me, which actually shows the translation of the real world and like university. Professors would normally say, I want this essay to be 6 pages. And I actually grew up training myself to write reports in a very comprehensive and detailed way. And you know what it is that to this day I have a penchant to write a lot, if given a chance. And that's because I was told, well, you gotta write more, you gotta write more. And I just put all my thoughts on paper. And you know what it is that I've gotten feedback is that hey Dave, you gotta put this in 2 pages. It has to be a lot shorter than this. Again, make it more concise. Anyways, it's just my experience, and it's just funny how like really what I learned in university versus real life. Maybe I applied 10%.
Yeah.
It was not the majority, anyways. I learned lots of stuff on the job, and every job's different too.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
definitely more concise. I think Amazon has a rule like no, you can't have a meeting with if you buy one pizza, you can't have a meeting with any more people than that pizza can feed. Just one pizza.
Right.
Which is unique, like kind of team atmosphere, corporate culture. So, anyways, I'm sure a lot of people want to get back into BSG. So
Yeah. Okay.
let's go to branded production.
The brand production screen is one of three major core screens of the game, which I call the Holy Trinity. Um, is that the brand production screen is your strategy. Uh, this screen controls superior materials, enhanced styling and features, which is also part of standard materials, and TQM, of course, with models and the amount of shoes being manufactured. So this is a pretty important screen. Um, well, is that there are people who they bet their life on TQM. TQM is very very important. Is that to say which one to do? Yeah, I guess I would do the TQM. Okay, because it is good for all scenarios. There's an argument that I'd make is that I always adapt my strategy to my most powerful competitor. Like if you're middle of the industry and there's like 8 people ahead of you, then obviously you have to make your operations better internally. Um, is that if you're at the very, very top, you're like second or third, you have one or two companies above you. that's when, okay, you have to start really adapting your strategy to beating that one company. And that all of that happens on primarily this page. What is your strategy? What's the product that you're selling? Um, I think that's most of the main factors here. There's all kinds of strategies. I've played all kinds of strategies on the map. Um, there are four per se schools of strategies. The lower left, which is low models, low quality. Upper left, which is higher quality and low models. Lower right, which is high models and um, sorry, high models and lower quality, and the upper right, which is high models and high quality. Um, I actually, my very first game, I did the upper left strategy, won it, very easy. There's a way to play it, and a person's able to do it very well. The lower left strategy, with low models and lower quality, is a tough strategy to pull off correctly. However, I would temper that to say that the lower left strategy actually is the strongest early game, and the reason for that is because it takes no preparation to do. To do any high quality strategy or high models even takes a level of finances and investment towards your towards the production of the product. The lower left strategy, okay, is very simple and can be picked up by any company very quickly and can be done very quickly as well. Um, for the longest time, okay, I actually was using that strategy, okay, as the baseline and then adapting it. I've changed my approach since, okay, but the strategy, you know, I should have a good word in there. Um, the most robust strategy, of course, is the upper right because it's perfect in every angle. And the lower right also kind of, you know, weighs out the rest of the competition too from the top left. It really depends on what's happening in the industry. Your thoughts on this, Derek, on this page?
Yeah. First of all, bottom left corner, I've never seen it win a game. I really don't think it's possible. Like you were saying, maybe early on you can use it, but low model, low SQ rating, just it's like a no zone for sure. The only thing I've seen do successful was top left corner. So low model, high SQ. That one works. I personally love the top right corner. I will preach about it all day, and you were right. TQM is my baby. I think of it as getting that early advantage, get it early on, and then you can always get rid of it. If it's not something that you need, but it's hard to catch up. If you don't start with it early, you're not going to be able to catch up necessarily. You can, but by that time, it's like you missed a bunch of years of quality and saving potentially, right? Um, I also would say like this page, if you look at the anticipated material prices on the bottom, this is something where if you can predict material prices, you're going to make better decisions on what mix. That's a big question I get. Um, is what's the best mix of superior materials to enhance styling and features? Well, you you can kind of guess. Usually it's superior materials and then enhanced styling, but if superior materials like they are now, $13.70, I would beg to differ that enhanced styling is better than superior materials in some ways to a certain point. I've seen games where superior materials are $15 plus. I guarantee that game, enhanced styling is by far the better cost for SQ. And so it just depends. The only other thing I see about this page is the economies of scale. If you were to start playing with these numbers, like for example, if you look at 300 being made in Latin America, the cost per shoe is $41. Where if you look at Asia Pacific, the cost per shoe is $25 per shoe. That's a huge difference
Yeah.
when you're selling shoes for 60, $70. Um, so I'm also a really big believer in economies of scale, specifically in a manufacturing style industry like this. So a lot of work that needs to be done on this page, I would say.
And
A lot of
and
work.
that right into the next page about production facilities is that the biggest companies in the world all operate on scale. Coca-Cola, McDonald's. It's not your boutique store that's just making small amounts of handcrafted whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Um, So you want to move to
Yeah.
next
Yeah, no,
yeah,
and I think you should expand on that too. Like, if you
yeah.
really do think about it, the largest companies have some of the best economies of scale. It's a very powerful business theory. Um, so how to do it though, that's a whole nother question, right? And maybe you can help explain in a real world example, how do you go from nothing to an economy of scale?
Well, is that let's talk today, 2024, the biggest business is Amazon. 10 years ago, the answer was Walmart, but today it's Amazon. Amazon existed back in the year, I think like late 90s. Most definitely, I was buying books on Amazon myself in the year 2000. And it was a bookstore, I thought to myself. And Amazon has only grown and expanded its differentiation, its products, right? And now it sells basically virtually everything. I buy shavers off Amazon now. Um, razors, but yeah, is that so they went from nothing from 30 years ago they were nothing, and now okay they are the biggest retailer. So is that and a big feature of their success is that they were able to have economies of scale, low store frontage. Of course, that's very unique to their own business. And actually, something else too that also played a big role in their success is that most of Amazon's initial sales were done on sort of like consignment. So they would have like other sellers like sell something. And then, so no, it's those sellers. They're holding on to the stock. They're holding on to the operations of delivery. Amazon sees all this information. And the moment they see something making a whole bunch of money, Amazon itself is going to start going into that business. And actually, is actually those little retailers, okay? Like, no, it still exists. If you go on Amazon right now, there's still retailers on there, and they're selling their products. Yeah, and if Amazon sees that there's profit to be made there, they'll get in on the action themselves. So, anyways, smart strategy, and of course, Amazon is a very robust company. If Amazon was in the BSG, they would represent the top right corner because they are the best value for money, and you can buy all kinds of items on there now, high and low quality. And broadly speaking, Amazon items are usually pretty good. They're not low quality. I can't say that. They're good. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. I would see them as middle right. You can buy everything. I would not say they're the best quality. I would not say that they're the worst. I would maybe put them down a little bit further in quality. But the pure fact is you can buy anything on there. So that just gets thrown out the door because you can buy a high quality item from Amazon. So it doesn't really truly matter. But they're blue ocean. They're what I call a blue ocean strategy, right? This is something that you can obtain in BSG that not very many people talk about. You can have the you can be high SQ rating, you can have the lowest cost per shoe, and you'll make the most money. It's very difficult to obtain, and but it's totally doable. If you hit a blue ocean strategy in BSG, hands down, you're gonna win the game. It's just getting to that, and hopefully, if you're paying attention, you will learn and strategize and think about how you can obtain that blue ocean strategy. So I just think it's a missed opportunity to try and get it.
yeah. Just as a point of interest, Derek, is that all things are relative to how things are in the world. So therefore, is that do you know of a company that is like Amazon that has that breadth of inventory but has higher quality on average?
Um, Off the top of my head, I would say no. In that industry, I don't know who would have products specifically that are higher quality.
Right. Well, it all depends of what it is. However, is that if Amazon is the highest, which I think it is, then therefore they occupy that space. Let's just talk the other angle of it. Top left. Top left is limited models and high quality. Um, I would attribute this strategy to be more like more like Costco, limited amounts. They only sell they only sell okay what consumers want. The quality is normally there. It's not super high quality, but it's pretty good. Costco stuff, broadly speaking, is decent. Um, is that I'm just trying to think. Well, actually, you know what? Ironically, the highest end store that I can think of in grocery, which is kind of comparable to Costco, would be what's it called again?
Whole
It's
Foods?
not wholesale. Whole Foods.
Whole Foods versus Amazon, owned by
Yeah,
Amazon
Whole
now.
Foods. Actually, Whole Foods is owned by Amazon too. So you know what? Like Amazon, they occupy that niche. That's high quality now. Like at least when I go to Whole Foods, I can't afford 45, $50 a cake for their hot food buffet thing. It looks good though. I can't afford it. But yeah, well, is that obviously Walmart that they're lower quality stuff. It's that broadly speaking, it's okay. Um, but lower quality type items. But anyways, it's just
Mhm.
just strategy. Do you have an example of the lower left, which is like low quality, low models?
Uh,
I want to see something more like Dollar Tree.
yeah, possibly, but they have still a lot of stuff. They still have a lot of. They don't have as much. No, you're probably right. You're probably
Yeah,
right
because we
because
got to compare it to their rivals. Like
like
they're not
Walmart,
Walmart.
right?
Dollar and Dollar Tree makes a business for themselves too. Is that
Hmm.
is that Dollar Tree's business model, which I think is just really smart, is that they go where Walmart isn't. They go into neighborhoods and they're not going to sit there and have all of the units of the laundry detergent or whatever it is. They're going to have one size, and that size has a good profit margin on it. And that neighborhood of wherever they exist in, everyone has to go buy that size because they are the only store that exists. Different business model, but the strategy hypothetically existed out in the real world, and they are successful with it. Um, is that just to compare like the four quadrants of the strategies. There's all kinds of examples across different regions, or industries. But anyways, I just want to give a context of how I kind of view like the different strategies.
Hmm. Yeah, no, I agree. I think we're spot on with
Yeah,
the four quadrants.
yeah. Is that so? In terms of this company in production, the first thing I can say is that this company has not expanded by very much since year 11, which is a big no-no. Um, this is year 17. That's 7 years into the game. I'll give it points, okay, that the company at least got upgrades. Um, but other than that, okay, is that it has a small LA plant, which is really not cost efficient. You saw it yourself, $42 or whatever. That's not cost efficient. And Asia Pacific and North America are not any bigger than where they were in year 11 effectively. Thoughts?
Yeah. To fix this, also I saw that they were buying refurbished equipment in North America. I am personally not a fan of refurbished equipment. You may as well buy new. And they were doing that also in Latin America. I would consider everything else is now just new equipment. And to fix this, really probably just consider, see, it's too late in the game to make a major shift. Like you're already in North America. You've already made you're already in for North America. You rebought that equipment. You got to
Mhm.
keep it now. You can't resell it. It would just be stupid at that point. So you may as well keep what you have. Try to get up to that economy of scale for North America, Asia Pacific, and I would expand Latin America and just hit like a good overall like even playing ground. So you're still getting decent economies of scale, but that's it. Like it's too late. You already made your decisions. This is why early decisions are so vital.
Mhm.
Um, and you got to go from there. Option B, I love it. I'm a huge fan of option B. I do not usually like option. Well, C and A are okay. I never like D. D is just very bad. Like you don't. I think options are another one that students would get really confused on, but they're not hard. You pretty much just take your capital outlay. and then your projected avenue or annual cost savings, that's your buyback period. So if you look at option, let's say we look at Asia Pacific option A, that's about 12,000. So essentially it's going to take 6 years to pay that off. Anything after that would be a benefit, a cost savings. Usually option B has a good one. Um, I don't know if you have any other thoughts on that, but why option A or C? Do you do option D ever?
Is that the history of these upgrades is interesting. When I first played the game, there was 5 options. There was an option E. I
Hmm.
actually forgot what option E is about right now. I should go look it up. But anyways, there was actually 5, and E was decent. Um, is that
It's going to be
option D
artificial
is
intelligence. Artificial
yeah,
intelligence and the new
maybe
revision is going to be
yeah,
AI.
2026, 2025, right? That's the new thing. Option
Mm-hmm.
E, artificial intelligence. I can just have robots, Roombas walk around with shoes or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, actually, in Globus, which is the other game I'm grand champion of, is that they do have the robotics upgrade. So the idea actually exists in another game. Um, is that option D? Well, debatable. Option D would only be good though for 2 plants because it only focuses upon the productivity of the employee. Which, if you look at the at the reports, remember these are these 80-year-old guys in Alabama. Okay, is that workers in Europe and North America? They're productive. They're way more productive, like 3 times more productive than people from Asia Pacific or Latin America. That's their viewpoint. It's not very nice actually. um,
It's incredible. It needs to be fixed. It's incredibly racist, and I would beg to differ just by me traveling the world.
yeah,
Um, no, I would say that people in other countries are maybe even more productive than
yeah,
Americans and people around here, but it depends on the industry. Are we talking about, if we're talking about you need high education,
yeah,
you're doing like really big thoughts, well, that's a different type of productivity. If we're talking about whoever can make the shoes the fastest and stuff in a factory, hands down, like stereotypically speaking, and just how the world works right now, yeah, Asia Pacific and Latin America probably can push out more shoes than an average American can,
right.
right? Like this is totally backwards, totally
Yeah,
backwards. But yet Americans, and why do you think outsourcing is happening? I hear so often that, oh, my job is being outsourced. Well, yeah, because guess what? You want 60K to essentially do something that somebody willing to get 15 to $20,000 a year can do just as fast, if not faster, right?
right. Yeah,
So that's something if you out of everything we said, if you want to protect your job, you got to figure out how you can be worth that 60, 70, $80,000 today in this market and do, good work.
yeah,
Or that, yeah, AI and outsourcing are going to take over.
yeah. That actually is what's happening out in the world these days. Is that yeah, to go into an organization and to know a very specific skill set within the organization, it does protect you. And especially if no one else knows it. And also, like I actually learned the lesson even in accounting is that it takes a lot of work to know this stuff. But once you know it and everyone else doesn't know it, that's why you're getting paid the $50 an hour. That's the key to the game. You have to know stuff that other people don't know.
Hmm.
So um, yeah, and in the case of productivity, let's just check in the game right now. All things being equal, in compensation. Productivity. Yeah, well, it's 5,000 in North America and 3,800 and 4,000 in Latin America. Well, it's that. So that is to say that the average American employee is working. That's almost 50% more than the average Asia Pacific or LA
Hmm.
employee. Yeah. So anyways, that's why company upgrade D is good specifically for North America and Europe, Africa, because the productivity levels are so high. It makes it more profitable for those two regions specifically.
Mm-hmm.
Is that ironically is that you like option B and I don't like it. Okay, that actually is a point of interest. Um, Option B helps companies with a high amount of models being produced and production run setup costs. It also helps companies that go in between like private label and branded. So there's cost savings in that too. Um, it's a solid upgrade. Okay, it's a lot worse. You are able to clearly see there's cost savings in it. Um, is that well, secrets out. My favorite upgrade is actually upgrade A, and why? Is because not only is the company able to save on those shoes, but they can turn around and they can go sell it thereafter. And you know what? This here does not demonstrate that. This does not demonstrate this cost savings does not demonstrate the idea that, well, if it's not being rejected and it's a saleable product, now you can go make a profit on it. That's power now. That's a unique advantage. And you know what? All of this is not what's on the screen per se. So, anyways,
I
just
didn't
a
know that. I
thought.
didn't think of that.
Yeah.
Actually, I really like that. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna say option B is my number one and option A is my number two.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Anyways, is that
Let's go to distribution.
yeah, I'll just finish off. Okay, is that I agree with you. Is that does this company to go anywhere? It needs to build everything up immediately. The company is forced to keep North America. You can't sell it anyways, and LA has to get expanded. Okay, because this is not cost efficient at all. Horrible. All right, let's have a look into distribution. Now distribution, okay, is a very rules-based screen. Okay, so let's just go over the simple rules here. There's a $4 tariff going to North America. There's a $6 tariff going to Europe, Africa, an $8 tariff going to Asia Pacific, and a $10 tariff in Latin America. Is that these tariffs are as of this version of the game that came out in 2020. There was for many years a free trade agreement in between Latin America and North America. However, when Donald Trump came into power, is that the game changed over. Right now, there's no free trade agreement between these two countries. Okay. Anyways, it's just a point of interest. Okay, and who knows if they'll bring it back in, but no, these are the tariffs today. Is that hypothetically speaking, is that it's not rocket science. North America should send shoes to North America. Europe, Africa should send shoes to Europe, Africa, and Asia Pacific should send shoes to Asia Pacific, and Latin America should send shoes to Latin America. Is that why would you cross ship shoes? So, example, I'm looking at this company. I'm thinking to myself, well, why the hell is Latin America sending shoes to North America and Europe, Africa, and Asia Pacific when it has a plant just there? And why is Asia Pacific and North America sending shoes to Latin America? Why is Asia Pacific sending shoes to North America when there's already a plant here? Anyways, this looks kind of sloppy. It's all rules, and is that this company and the distribution, they're just not playing by the rules here.
Yeah, it's a really quick fix. It's an easy fix.
Easy
It's
fix.
one of my biggest pet peeves to see. But once you know it, once you think about it, it's super logical, right?
Yeah,
Like,
of course.
why would you want to spend an extra $10 to ship shoes somewhere else? It just doesn't make sense. The
Yeah.
only other thing on this page that I want to go over is I do sometimes like clearancing if it makes a profit and if you just, quite frankly, have too many shoes left over because you can maintain that economy of scale. This is way too many shoes left over. Having 700, 600, and 932, that needs to go down. But maybe clearancing isn't the right option. Maybe they can make more money by selling them on the market. So just keep that in mind. Don't use clearance as a cop out. Use it as an extra tool at the end if you have too many shoes after everything's said and done. So that's pretty much
Hmm.
it with this page. You hit everything else. Like pretty
Okay.
simple.
Well, I'll say this much though, okay, about this page, which is of interest, is that you said that the inventory levels are high. Arguably speaking, they are, but the company actually is short. You can see they're negative, negative, negative. So actually, this ending inventory was actually a saving grace for this company, okay? Because now they have a few shoes to sell, and already we already commented, okay, that the company, okay, is very small, hasn't grown since year 11. It's short shoes. Inherently, the big problem with this company is it's short shoes, and it all shows it right there, and it's all strategy. It's all based upon business practices. I go to my local grocery store, and you know what, okay, is that well, in this economy, I'm shopping the 50% discount rack. Okay, so that's where I'm at. But as a business, I would not put stuff on clearance. I would avoid it at all costs. I want to sell that product decay at full value. And to carry inventory year to year, there is a cost. There's a storage cost to it. But I would still prefer to sell it at full value. I'd be pretty desperate to want to sell at a discount. Um, it's all style. Um,
This company
and
does
yeah,
have room to grow, though. This company
oh yeah, it
has
does.
plenty of production. Yeah, they could expand. They have room to build more equipment. So, um, yeah, it could be a saving grace for this one. I agree with you. Like this
Yeah,
year specifically, but from now on, they shouldn't be having this many shoes left over. So, but it all depends. Like
it all
a lot
depends.
of different variables. Um, so yeah. Do you have anything else on this page?
Yeah, and it also depends on strategy. Is that the putting in perspective is that I normally like having about 1,000 shoes in inventory. 500, like 1,000 is kind of like the upper max of normal, but 500, well, why not? It's
You're
just
crazy.
inventory.
That scares
Is
the
that
crap
is
out of me.
Well, yeah, it's different play. I have those shoes in case sales can be made. Um, I always think futuristically, and it just comes down to, okay, is that I saw too many times in my dad's business that we didn't make a sale because we didn't have the item, and they walked to the other store, and they bought the item there. And you know what, okay? They may have bought other stuff there. And furthermore, okay, it frustrates the customer, okay, to go to the store because now they came to your store and they want to go buy stuff, and they don't have it. And if it happens a couple of times, you really piss them off, and then and they're going to the store. The whole thing is just a sad thing. Just my work experience. Okay, is that my dad owned a supermarket for 30 years. Um, I avoid customers' dissatisfaction, which by the way exists in this game.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That is a good perspective, definitely to have. I could see
yeah.
that. Um, yeah, I like that. I like that. You know,
Is that you ever go to a store you didn't have so and so even though it's listed?
no, I'd be not very happy. I would not be very
I'm not
happy.
happy. Pissed off.
Um, yeah, I think it's more important to like for smaller companies. Obviously, if like let's say you shop at Walmart, if Walmart doesn't have something, yeah, you're probably just gonna go to Amazon, but you're still gonna go back to Walmart most likely.
Sure.
It's not like you're gonna shift who you buy from. I think there's more that had to be something much more large or personal to you to not shop at a big store like that. But um,
Yeah.
yeah, that is a very unique perspective and something that I don't think of
Yeah.
when looking at BSG. So I like that for
Is
sure.
that is that well, yeah, my dad's store was in a small town. There's only a few stores. The nearest like bigger store um was like an hour away. And so, anyways, is that and that's kind of the framework we had. So not quite Dollar Tree level, but definitely going down that line that it was limited and people could hold grudges. Yeah, it happened. Is that something as simple as apples and there's one lady, she's like, you have apples on sale for whatever it is, 50 cents or 49 cents a pound. This is like 10 years ago. And prices are a lot more higher now under this inflationary environment. And I come here and no apples. Anyways, yeah. So just these memories I have. Okay, let's have a look at internet. Okay.
Yeah.